Okay, so 5 update ideas that I think would improve One Piece Bounty Rush. Now, Opbr is already a good game at its core. You know, the core gameplay, the core mechanics are nice. But we all know there are some things that just need to be added, or not even added, just tweaked to make the game way better. So yeah, without delay, let's hop right into this. Idea number 1 is going to be a skill-based league. Now, let's be honest. We all complain about bad teammates in most of the games we play in Opbr, and the issue with SS is that it's way too cluttered. There's trash players, there's mediocre players, there's good, and there's great players, all in one league that's meant to be for the very best, quote unquote. Something I'm interested in is a league where you need to have experience in the game to actually get into. This will reduce the amount of bad teammates, maybe, in games, and allow for a more enjoyable and sweaty league experience. So for this league, let's call it SSS, since we have S minus, SS plus, and SS. So SSS, the requirements for SSS could be level 50 and above with at least 140% support, maybe 150%. The reason I added a level and support requirement is because whales can just spend their money to get high support, and that's going to kind of invalidate the idea of a league where you need a lot of experience. This way you need to actually play the game to get into SSS. This will also help reduce rerolling. It will reduce the amount of people who want to reroll because it will take a hell of a long time to actually get into SSS, since the level requirement. Rerolling would set you back every single time. And yeah, so that would mean there's less rerollers in lower leagues as well, which means matchmaking would also be a little more easier and fair because you wouldn't have teammates at super low levels kind of ruining your games and getting one shot. So the rewards for this would match up with the high requirements. Since you need such a high requirement, you should get rewarded around the same. So I'm thinking something like 100 frags per season, 30 gems, 30 rainbow diamonds, and boost rewards as well. That's something I think they should start adding to leagues because it's so hard to get now. You really only get it from exchange shops. Oh my god, my door. You really only get it from exchange shops and challenge battles. So adding that to SSS would give more incentive for people to actually grind to it, work towards it, and yeah. So SS would become sort of a training ground for players to build up support, gain experience, and SSS would be for players who've truly got what it takes to compete with their high support and experience in the game, similar to how the Grand Line in One Piece is like the precursor to the New World. So people stay in the Grand Line, and once they're strong enough, they go on and challenge the New World. So yeah, that's basically the skill-based league idea, and that update would honestly single-handedly change the entire course of the game and make it way less stressful to get into matches. So number 2 is going to be permanent challenge battle game modes. Now what I mean by this is that some of the challenge battle game modes are really fun, like tag battle, stuff like that, yet they're stuck in a rotation. So players who want to play these have to wait weeks and sometimes months for their favorite challenge battle to come back. So in that time, League gets really stale. And other than rune matches and AVA, which is more of the same, there really isn't that much to do. So having many game modes to play is something that will keep the game more lively and entertaining. They can keep Brawl 8 limited in my opinion. That game mode is trash, but having tons of treasure at any time, maybe they could add a restriction where you can only play as runners, because I think we're all tired of seeing Rogers and Akainos and tons of treasure. But yeah, so having tag battle permanent would be really be nice. This is something new and should have happened already. Having multiple game modes to play is something other gachas do already, and a newer game, One Piece Fighting Path, has 2v2, 3v3, and a battle royale game mode. A literal battle royale game mode. So I hope we get something like a permanent set of game modes, and they begin getting creative with these game modes to bring something refreshing to the game. They could just have a section where you could choose which game would you want to play, and yeah, so the most popular ones can stay, and the ones that don't get played much can get deleted or just be relegated to challenge battle rotation to reduce the strain on the server. Number 3 is going to be a report button. Surprisingly, we still don't have a report button, and I think most people who watch this video and don't play Bounty Rush would be like, how can a game not have a report button? But yeah, we don't have a report button. We have to go through a super long process just to report a player, just for it not to get addressed. A report button alone would be good, but we need to actually make it effective, and so we need an actual moderation team from the devs to review and take action on the players reported. A report button could have stopped the hacking situation really quickly after it began, and yet all we have to this day is a useless block button, which just makes it so you can't see the opponent's stamps. Seriously, give us a report button. So number 4 is going to be alliance updates. The alliance function is already cool, but outside of cheers and boosts, there's not much alliance things to do with your alliance mates. Like, I'm putting 2 ideas in one here, but a PvE game mode that isn't boss battle, because boss battle is pretty boring and repetitive, but a PvE game mode where there are different mechanics for the enemies, maybe waves of enemies, and you eventually fight a boss together with friends or alliance members, something you actually work towards as an alliance. Like, it would make alliances so much more fun out of just utility, or, you know, cheers, getting cheers. I'm joining an alliance just to get cheers. I don't really care about the alliance. It would make people want to actually join with friends instead of not caring, just join a random alliance. To add to this, an actual alliance battle system. There's legit an alliance battle function, but it's just for private battles, so that doesn't really make sense. But it's just private battles. It's weird how you can still match with bots in that system. Honestly, I don't know what they were thinking with that. A simple fix would be to make the alliance system link to a single lobby where all players load in, join, and when everybody readies up, the fight begins. So it seems like a pretty easy update, considering that's basically what they did with room matches, and room matches is way more useful now. And finally, the cola system. So the cola system is pretty random. For some reason they expire, and there's not a lot to spend on in there except outdated cola units and XP orbs. This may be the most to ask for out of this list, but having a schedule for cola units to release would help people actually think of cola as a sort of currency to save and give it a use outside of being resource fodder. There are a bunch of units they could make cola units, like Impel Down, Crocodile, and Buggy. You know, we already have an Impel Down Croc, but you know, we could have a V2. So Impel Down, Crocodile, Dofi, Buggy, Mr. 3. Impel Down Dofi could be an absolutely fantastic. They could add Wiper, different versions of Magellan, any unit really. Cola units can be really good. They don't really have like a set level they can be at. They can be really good or just mediocre. Like, we had Sogeging on release. He was one of the best runners in the game. And then we had a unit like Mr. 2, who was alright but still not really the best. So an update like this would make cola have an actual use instead of it just expiring in people's inventories. And yeah, so those are the 5 update ideas that I had. Realistically, I would ask for way more than this. Oh my goodness, I just dropped my phone. Realistically, I would ask for way more than this, but anything I would ask for would be like a huge revamp of the UI of the game and stuff like that. That realistically would never happen, or at least has a really low chance of happening, so there's no point asking. And yeah, let me know if you guys have any other update ideas. Leave them in the comments. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Have a good day, guys.
I know we grew up a little too fast. I miss the days that we chill and relax. Where did the time go? It all passed. Now I need to go back. I had no worries but always had plans. The only thing I did was dig out the trash. Now it's much harder to laugh, hard to get up and then work on my craft.